Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Like I said in a previous video, I am working on that Bushclass through Bushcraft USA, and I'm going to be doing some of the requirements, doing little short videos on them. You've seen the one that I put up in regards to braiding man-made material and putting an eye in it. Another one we're required to do is proper feather sticks and shavings. That's kind of a touchy subject to some people. Anything that you cut off of a stick classifies as a shaving to me. And as far as a feather stick, in one of my previous videos I talked about that briefly. I kind of have a tendency, instead of doing all of mine on one side, I go all the way around and make kind of like a big bloom out of it. That was the way my father taught me. What we're going to do today is I'm just going to go over some basic things to look for when you do feather sticks, things to look for when you do shavings, and just talk about that for a minute. Let me get you turned around here and set up. I'm going to be using the trusty PR4 today. When you do feather sticks, you want to pay attention to the thickness of your feathers. Now, the difference between a feather stick and a shaving, both you're making shavings, but shavings come off of the stick, feather sticks stay attached, the shavings stay attached. Everybody's got a different technique on how they do this, but what you're looking for when you're making a feather stick. You want your shavings that you're making to curl. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See how those are curling up? This one here, not so much. Well, that one's a little thick compared to the rest of them. But when you're making feather sticks, you want those thin, curly shavings to stay attached. Now, as you can tell by looking at this bench top, everything I'm making, it's not staying attached. Some of it's falling off. That one, for instance, that's way too thick. But since it's there and it's still attached, we'll leave it. And as you notice, I'm constantly turning this stick, trying to work the edges, the high points that I make. And then I make them all the way around. Now, technically, this is classified as a feather stick. All these little pieces here you see falling off would be what they consider shavings. Now, we'll go ahead and finish this out and get this one popped off quick. I, myself, kind of like to start out making real thin when I do my feather sticks. And then as I go through, make them bigger, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. Make them thicker instead of bigger, I guess. There we go. If you look in there towards the center, underneath. Those are all pretty thin and curly, and as you look, as they get closer to the center, they get thicker. I like to do that because then when I lay it in the fire or take a lighter to it, all that thin stuff catches real easy. Then as it burns out, this thicker stuff kind of helps sustain it until you actually get your fire going. That's just what I was taught. Other people have other ideas on that, and that's fine and dandy. That's just the way I was taught to do it. Was start out with thinner, and as you get closer to the center, make them bigger and thicker. That way they kind of burn a little bit longer than if they were all thin. And as far as shavings, all you do, and same thing, but you don't keep them on the stick. Take them all the way off. And I was told when you do that to make them all different thicknesses and sizes. But I mean, you get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. The feather stick is attached, shavings are loose. They both do the same thing. The only difference is these hold together, where these, the wind can blow them. Just a little bit of a breeze. Just what, a little bit. I'm shaking my hand there, waving my hand. You can see them moving. These won't move like that. I've seen people make feather sticks. Let's use another piece here. Let's use this one. Get a little piece there off. But they'll make them and they'll just work one side. Let's go right here. And do that and put them all on one side. And then you can burn it that way, or I've seen people take one final cut and pop them off like that. But if you look at that compared to this one, everything on this one's all on one side, where this goes all the way around. But I guess what I'm trying to get at, there's really no right way or wrong way to do it. The main difference is the difference between a feather stick and a shaving. Feather stick actually still has part of the stick attached. Shavings are just loose shavings that are just laying there. Hope y'all found this interesting. I'll get some more stuff up here soon. I'm probably going to start a series to do with this Bushclass and put everything that I have to do in it together. But like, share, subscribe, comment. Y'all have a good day.